1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 through 8. There's 16 attributes of love. Work on it. And he says here, as he moves into another subject, pursue love. There is an important aspect of love. Now, I was going to bring my wife's ring up here, but her diamond is very small. So I brought another diamond here. How do you like this? Now, if this were real, there'd be people all around me with guns. So it's a piece of glass, not carbon. And so it's fake. It's just a piece of glass, but it is faceted like a diamond. Like 56 facets on this thing. And what's interesting is, you can look and you see things differently, and you can probably see it glaring off in different things. It's a pretty amazing, even just this piece of glass, the way it's cut, is pretty amazing as you look at it, and it refracts light and different things like that. Well, think of it on a big ring. Now, you'd get carpal tunnel if you put it on a ring here, but just think of it on a ring. Think of this as love, and think of the ring as spiritual gifts. God has given us a ring. As I gave my wife a ring when we got married, as a covenant statement that I love her and we have this relationship, God has given us a ring, a covenant statement that he loves us. And actually he's given us several, but this one is spiritual gifts. And he says, inside that ring, put love, because if you perform your spiritual gifts without love, chapter 13 says it is nothing, right? So he gives us the diamond and the ring and says we are to show the love of Christ to other people as he has shown us the love. Now, you look at a ring, you go, well, that's passive. It just sits there and does nothing. And you're right. This is an active, so the illustration breaks down. But think of it that you are to exercise the gifts God has given you, but exercise them with love. Because if you exercise them without love, it is nothing. I discovered that this week when I made a mistake and said something out of meaning not in love, without love, and I destroyed something that I had been working on. Have you ever done that? What are the triggers in your life that destroy it? Well, we talked about one last week, anger. There's other ones, pride, envy, jealousy. You name your sin of choice, which blots out and covers up the love of which God has given you to give to others. And if you don't know what they are, read chapter 13, verses 4 through 8, and work on one or two of them. And that's still our assignment, to keep going. So the homework is still there until someone comes to me and says, I got all 16 of them down. And then I think they missed the humility one. But it is so important to realize that when you exercise your spiritual gift, it is as if you're giving that person a diamond ring and saying, I love you enough to do this for you. And it could be as simple as a word of exhortation, as simple, whatever your gift is, the gift of hospitality, because have you not been given something that is far richer than a silly piece of carbon or glass? I think you have, and understand it. And that's what he says here. Pursue love and earnestly desire the gifts. Now go to verse 7. And it's important, keeping this analogy, the clarity. I never knew this till I bought the diamond for Liz, that there's this whole issue of clarity in a diamond. And I still don't understand all of it because I haven't bought a lot of diamonds in my life. But the issue of clarity, what is the clarity in the scripture? What is the clarity in our message? Verse 7, if even lifeless instruments such as the flute or the harp do not give distinct notes, how will anyone know what is played? And if the bugle gives an indistinct sound, who will get ready for battle? The bugle for the war cry. So with yourselves, if with your tongue you utter speech that is not intelligible, how will anyone know what is said? For you will be speaking into the air. Paul is saying clarity in your message. So you say you love someone, You say you have the love of Christ in you, and you act differently. What are you doing? You have an unclear message, right? How many of have you ever had that? You've had a loved one say how much they love you, and then they showed that they don't really love you? Or someone say this? We've seen this. He's saying, love and pursue love, pursue your spiritual gifts, and don't be indistinct or muted in your message. Your message needs to be clear as the harp, as the flute, as the piano, as any instrument. Know the notes. I mean, all of us have, when I have my granddaughter at the piano, we play. She loves to play the piano. How does she play the piano? She bangs the notes. And it's just this indistinct banging that goes on. Then when Ryan comes up and plays the piano, it's very different, isn't it? It's a very distinct sound. And that's what we're looking for. Because if not, what you're doing is just speaking into the air. And we have seen a lot of that. Have you ever listened to someone who says words and you know they don't really mean it? And they're just like speaking into the air and you're going, she doesn't mean this, he doesn't mean this, right? That's what, because it's indistinct. Indistinct means you're saying one thing and doing another. It's unclear. So your message, fellow Christian, needs to be clear and understandable. How is that so? By pursuing love and acting out your faith.